What if Equestria fell into a world war? War is an armed conflict between nations, or between groups within a nation. A world war is a more intense version of a war, where it can include multiple nations. Hello everypony, my name is Cappy, and welcome back to another MLP What If. Before we get into the questions, I want to tell you, we won't focus on G5, mostly because we don't know that much about modern versions other than ponies. So for this What If, we'll be looking at Generation 4 only. In this episode, we'll be tackling these 4 questions. Number 1. What events led up to a first conflict that started off the war? Number 2. Who would be on each side, and what nations would get involved? Number 3. Which side would win? And finally, number 4. What are the side effects of a war, and what will happen after, depending on which side wins? Stick around, and we'll answer these questions in this week's What If. Now, something you may be asking, how could this world full of colorful pastel ponies fall into a life-ending war? Well, I don't think it would be the ponies to start off a war. It would probably be a more fiercer nation. But with the world at peace, and all the nations at good terms with each other, it would seem impossible for there to be any world war. But you're missing a very important detail. It doesn't have to be a specific nation. It could be one individual. You can see that in Captain America's Civil War, where one man caused an entire civil war between the Avengers. What point am I trying to make? Well, it's that it doesn't take an entire disagreement between nations, only one measly set up by a creature who wants war and bloodshed. So the question is, who would start such a conflict? Think back to the 3 main villains, the princesses and Discord turned into stone. Those 3 villains could very well start a war between nations, just like how they turned ponies against each other. To be honest, it wouldn't take much to do it. The villains could simply just make one nation mad at another, and boom, war. Now, with nations growing more apart from each other, friendships between nations coming to an end, and declarations of war making probably one of the deadliest conflicts in thousands of years has begun. But what nations would go to war? Well, it honestly really depends on who is willing to fight, and who is willing to stay out of it. There are a lot of possibilities. Let's just say every nation we know of would go to war. There wouldn't be any one side or another. It would just be an all-out every creature for themselves war. I would guess that the 3 types of ponies would work together. Now for a question you've all been waiting for. Who would win? This answer is... no one. The reason is that I don't think that the Guardians of Friendship would allow a war to go on for that long. They would think that every creature just started a war with either no reason at all or from false information, and soon enough they would figure out that the 3 villains escaped and replaced their statues with a fake. Twilight and her friends would go hunt down the villains and try to settle the disputes between each nation. Hopefully they succeed, and they can go back to peace once again. But with every action comes an equal opposite reaction, and all of Equestria is left in ruins from probably hundreds of battles. The actions of nations falling into war has left the citizens in the dust. It would take months or even years to undo such destruction. But eventually, after nations make amends and villains are caught and put somewhere where hopefully it will contain them, life in Equestria will get back to normal. At least until G5 comes and ruins it all. But what do you think? Do you think the nations would be gullible enough to believe false information, or will the friendship nations have made with each other keep the nation from going to war? Would there be one side or another, and who would win? Did I miss anything, and did I give enough information? Tell me in the comments down below. While you're down there, make sure to like the video, hit subscribe, and then ring the bell so you will be notified for when my next video comes out. Speaking of videos coming out, if you have been with me for the past few months, you know that me and my cousins have been working very hard on a song. You may be asking, where is that promised song? Well, let me tell you, music is hard. Harder than you think. I promised this song last month, but unfortunately I couldn't get it out for various reasons. But just so you know, we're working our very hardest. I don't know when it will come out. I want to make the best video I can, and I want it to be special, so please bear with me. But with all that out of the way, this is Cappy signing out until next time. Blowproof.